Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom. It's Christmas Eve 2023 and I'm back at the Buckland Hills Mall in Manchester, Connecticut. The last time I filmed here was back in September of 2022. At that time it seemed to me that the mall was doing pretty well, but a lot of commenters on my video back then seemed to think that the mall was either dead or dying, which I didn't really agree with at the time. Since then, I've been to over 60 additional malls, which I find hard to believe, but it's true. I counted up all my videos. And I stand by my belief that this mall still falls into the doing just fine category, at least when compared to a lot of other malls I've been to. I could see an argument for saying it's possibly dying, but I don't think it's anywhere near being a dead mall. Clearly there are some closed stores here, but not a lot, and I don't really see any signs of decay or neglect. It also seems to get a fair number of shoppers. This video was filmed on Christmas Eve, which has to be one of the busiest shopping days of the year, so the crowd levels you see in this video are somewhat higher than normal. But even on a more typical shopping day, this mall has never really felt empty to me, like a lot of other malls do. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. So now let's take a look around and see if anything's changed. On the right here is Newbury Comics, and this was actually the first Newbury Comics to open in Connecticut. And before that it used to be Suncoast Video, which I used to go to all the time back in the 90s. Straight ahead is Barnes & Noble, and that opened in 2002, I believe. I'm not sure what was in there before that, though, so if anybody knows what was in here before it was Barnes & Noble, let me know in the comments. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free. And also feel free to leave a comment in the comment section and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming mall videos. Thanks. Coming up ahead, we're going to go down this hallway here, and from what I understand, this hallway and the stores to the left and the right of it used to be the location of D&L, which was a big clothing store, in this area at least, back in the 90s and much earlier. I don't know if the D&L was here on opening day in 1990, but if not, it opened shortly thereafter. At some point, the D&L closed and it became a Filene's men's store or Filene's home store. But then the Filene's home store closed at some point, I believe around 2004 or so. And then this whole area was apparently gutted and turned into this hallway and these additional stores on the left and the right. I wasn't able to find a lot of detail on that, no, and I couldn't find any pictures of it. So if anybody knows the full story on that, let me know in the comments. Here's one of those old Hollister stores. And this one's apparently been turned into a calendar and toy store. And I'm not sure if that's a full-time store or if it's just a pop-up around the holidays. Because I do know that a lot of those calendar stores only pop up, of course, around, Christmas and New Year's. Here's a little WOW Entertainment Center. This is actually just like a little outpost. They've got a full-size location down the way, and we'll take a look at some of the games in there in just a minute. And again, this is Christmas Eve, so Santa's still here, and I would assume this is, of course, his last day at the mall. This is the Macy's men's store. This was originally the location of Sage Allen, one of the original anchor stores. Sage Allen closed in 1993, and then it became a Lord & Taylor. The Lord & Taylor closed in 2004. Then it became a Filene's men's store around 2004. And then it finally became the Macy's men's store in 2006. So there have been a lot of stores in here. And I had to take a quick look in here because they actually do have one of those Toys R Us's in here. If you saw my video on the Toys R Us at the West Farms Mall, that one was much bigger than this one. This store is considerably smaller, I think, than the one at West Farms. And I don't think it's because it's just, it's Christmas Eve and that everything's sold out. I mean, the space that this one takes up is considerably smaller than the one at West Farms. But I still had to take a look. So I'm not going to do a full walk around like I did at West Farms, but I just wanted to get an idea of what this one looks like.
Star Wars is over here.
And there's Toys R Us and the Macy's at Buckland Hills. If you want to get a more in-depth look at a Toys R Us inside of Macy's, check out my video on the one at the West Farms Mall, which I posted just about a week ago or so. Here's JCPenney. It opened in 1992, so a couple years after the mall opened, but it's currently the oldest remaining anchor store. Every other anchor store that was in the mall on opening day is long gone. I'm not sure what used to be in here, but I can never pass up looking in one of these empty storefronts. So apparently these video terminals are running on Windows 7, which if you're not familiar, Windows 7 is about 15 or 16 years old at this point, which is pretty old, when it comes to computer programs or software. But it's not as bad as at Walmart. I remember just a few years ago I saw Walmart was running Windows XP on their point-of-sale devices. And at that point I think Windows XP was about 20 years old, which is really bad. Hopefully they weren't hooked up to the internet. So we already saw the Macy's men's store. This is the regular Macy's store. This was originally G Fox when the mall first opened, and then it became a Filene's in 1993, and then, like all Filene's, pretty much it became a Macy's in 2006. Alright, so now let's take a walk around the WOW Entertainment Center. And there's amazingly people in here, which I think is just because it's Christmas Eve. Normally, as you've probably seen in my other videos, there's almost never anybody in one of these WOW arcades. But there were people here today, so that's good to see. And they've got pretty much the exact same arcade machines that every other WOW arcade has. So nothing too special there. And this is a little bit interesting. You know, this is a WOW store. This is not the arcade, but this is the WOW toy store. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that's the only WOW toy store that I've seen at a mall. All right, now let's head on up to the second floor.
The other day.
One thing that I forgot to film the last time I was here were the elevators. So I'm going to correct that this time. We're going to take a ride up and down in both of them.
Why? cervecita, no nos vamos.
Déjenlo así, madre.
Vamos a la tarde.
Y tú te paraste a ese sitio y yo dije, te mando hoy a ti a pararte. A comprar caña.
No, a llevarlo
Ah, la
a
vaina.
de la sociedad.
La sociedad. Yo pensé que tú te paraste a comprar la cerveza.
Fun stuff.
in our garage.
So now let's take a walk around the food court. And I think this is another example of why this is not a dead mall or even really a dying mall. Because as far as I can tell, there's only one restaurant in here that's vacant. The others are all still open. And a lot of the malls I go to, often, a third to a half or more of the restaurants in these food courts will be closed. So in comparison, this one's doing pretty well, I think. Does anybody know what used to be in here? This very clearly looks like a spot for an anchor store, and the Barnes & Noble is down below on the first floor, and I can't remember there ever being anything above Barnes & Noble. So yeah, what used to be in there? Coming up is Bob's Clothing Store. This actually just opened in November of 22, so after I did my filming here last time. Before that, it was Dick's. I think it was Dick's from like 1996 to 2021. And then before that, it was actually the location of one of the original anchor stores, Steiger's, which I have no memory of whatsoever. I don't remember there being a Steiger's here. And honestly, I don't remember ever seeing a Steiger's ever in my entire life. So I don't know how I missed out on Steiger's, but apparently there were a few around here, and I never went to any of them. Now let's take a ride in the second elevator. And from what I've been told, this elevator is much more exciting than the first elevator, but we'll have to find out for ourselves. I don't know about you, but I thought that was pretty exciting. I was a little bit motion sick afterwards because it was a bit intense, but overall, it was worth it. And here, of course, is Sears, one of the original anchor stores. The Sears closed in 2021, but I was able to get inside back in October of this year when they turned part of it, the first floor, into Spirit Halloween. So check out that video if you want to see what it looks like on the inside. And it actually still looks pretty good. They're maintaining it fairly well. And another thing they changed at the mall since I was here last year was the store to the left of that mall map there. It's State Line Video Games now. That used to be, way back, that was the electronics boutique that I used to go to all the time. And then it became EB Games. And in my last video, that storefront was closed. So I'm glad something moved in there. And then real quick, we'll take a look over here. These stores were empty the last time I was here, I believe. This one, I'm not sure if it's open or not, but they do have like Christmas theming, so I'm guessing that store is still open. And then this nail spa here, that used to be a pet store way back. I think the pet store probably closed in the 90s at some point. No idea what used to be in here. Can't really see much in there. And then this one's blocked off. They've got like a black curtain up. I know this was filmed on Christmas Eve, so there's more people here than normal, but what do you think? Does this to you look like a dead mall, a dying mall, or is it doing just fine? As I said earlier, I think it's doing just fine. If it is a dying mall, I would say it's just barely over the line from doing just fine to dying, but I stand behind saying it's doing just fine. And again, let me know what you think about that in the comments. And don't go anywhere yet, though. I'm going to do a drive around of the mall, and we can see what it looks like from the outside. Here's the Macy's, which used to be Filene's, and then before that was G. Fox. And here's a picture of what it looked like when it was Filene's. Here's the JCPenney, which I don't think has been remodeled since 1992 when it was first built. It definitely looks 30 years old, or 31 years old actually. Those glass canopies there are very old school. The second floor here is the food court. So apparently the DNL used to be here, as far as I can tell. Again, couldn't find a single photo of it, but from what I understand, that's where DNL used to be. And here's the Barnes & Noble. And as you can see, there's nothing on the second floor, and the second floor is blocked off in the mall. So I'm really curious to know what was up there, if anything. This is where Sears used to be, and you can still see the label scar there where it says Sears. This is where they had the Spirit Halloween store earlier this year. Coming up is another Sears label scar right there. Here's that new Bob's store, and you can very clearly see that this used to be a Dick's Sporting Goods. It's a very distinctive look. So I'm guessing during the remodel they're going to take all this down and make it look like a Bob's store, which honestly I don't know that Bob's stores really have a distinctive look, but we'll see what it turns out to be. And I was actually just thinking right now, does anybody want me to do a walkthrough of this Bob's before they remodel it and then do another walkthrough after the remodeling is done? I could do that, so let me know in the comments. And this was very clearly a Ruby Tuesday. Another very distinctive storefront. Not sure what was in there, though. This is the Macy's men's store, and like I said earlier, this was originally Sage Allen when the mall first opened. Then it became Lord & Taylor. Then it was Filene's home department for a very short period of time. And then it became the Macy's men's department in 2006. we're back to the main Macy's store here. So there you have it. That's the Buckland Hills Mall on Christmas Eve 2023. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs and flea markets, of course. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.